welcome to Yin. And we're going to need socks, so we keep our feet warm. We're going to need a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, that's absolutely fine. We're also going to need a towel or a blanket or something like that, not just because we might be getting cold, but also because we'll use it as a prop. So socks, bolster, blanket, towel, whatever you want. We're also going to use a belt for some of our exercises, but if you don't have one, that's fine as well. Would be handy to have 2 blocks or just 1 block or maybe a book or 2, just whatever you can find lying around, grab it, and it might just help us in a few of those poses. We're going to start, if we have a bolster, we're going to start by bringing that onto the mat, so lengthwise, and we're going to come really close to our bolster. If you don't have a bolster, don't worry, you can also do the same thing on your back. You could grab a pillow or something like that if you have something quite sturdy, quite thick. Now we're going to bring the soles of the feet together here, and we're going to let ourselves drop down onto the bolster or onto the back. If you don't have a bolster, again, that's absolutely fine. And then just let the knees get heavy here. If this is already too much, then this is where books or blocks can come in handy. You can bring them just underneath you here and see if that stabilizes you a little bit here. If you need them, where you need them, and just make sure you get comfortable. Just as an option. Good. Now we close the eyes. We let the back of the head be firmly in touch, either with our bolster here or with the ground. And we open the palms to the ceiling. We just let ourselves start to relax here. We will, of course, feel the inner thighs here. We'll feel our hips. And while all of that is going on, we want to start focusing on the breath. We'll take slow and deep breaths all the way in through the nose, down into the belly, and out from there. While we're lying here, just get a sense of your breath. We don't have to take these deep breaths and push air into our lungs and push that air out. It's more that we're starting to become aware. And we let those breaths get deeper and deeper. Just because we're taking the time to observe them. And notice how the whole front of the upper body feels. You'll get a nice stretch here. Skin fibers are being stretched, muscle fibers are being stretched here. Abdominal cavity starting to soften. Our rib cage starts to soften, and our chest softens too. We just breathe in and out through the nose. Just opening up the whole front of the upper body, the legs. And on the next inhale, we're going to stretch the arms up over the head and just grab hold of your right wrist here and reach over to the left. Grab hold of your left wrist and reach over to the right. Good, and then reach the arms as far over the head as you can, and then grab hold of your opposite elbow. It should be nice and comfortable here. Let yourself relax. And gently push your pubic bone towards the rib cage. It's just a small, little gesture here. Not so much a push, a movement, nothing like that. Just that awareness of the pubic bone going towards the rib cage. And we keep taking those deep breaths into the front of the body. In through the nose. And out. And we'll take 2 more deep breaths here, all the way into the lower belly, into the rib cage, into the chest, all the way out from those parts of the body. And then we slowly release our hands and take this slowly as well. Bring the hands underneath the thighs, push the knees together. Good. And then from here, we come up and onto our back. If you're on your back already, don't worry about this one. We're just going to get rid of our bolster. If we were using one, just bring it to one side. And we're going to come back onto our back and into Pavanmuktasana. So just hugging the knees in towards us here. Pressing the abdomen a little bit here. Feeling some release in our lower back and in the inner thighs. As we're here, pressing the knees, the thighs towards the chest and towards the stomach, just feel those deep belly breaths. All the way in and all the way out. A few more breaths here. And then from here, release the feet down onto the ground. We reach the arms to the sides, or if that's more comfortable for you, interlock the hands behind you. Feet stay close to you. And we're going to drop the knees to the left, keeping the knees on top of each other. Now you've got the option here of using a belt if you've got one, and bringing that around the thighs or around the lower legs as well. Just bringing it tightly around so that you're keeping your legs in place. This is completely optional. If you don't have a belt, don't worry. And then slowly turn your head to the right and keep your shoulders grounded. If it's your first time using a belt, ignore me if you know exactly what you're doing. You're going to bring that end of the belt into both loops that you've got here, and then separate the loops and bring it into just one of them. And then you can tighten, etc. It's fairly straightforward, but just in case. Good. Now notice how you're breathing into the right side of the body here. Keep your right shoulder firmly on the ground here. We don't want the right shoulder to rise. Just feel that openness in your chest, your rib cage, the right side of the body being stretched. And we take deep, slow breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel that stomach rise and fall. On your next exhale, slowly raise the knees again. And we'll come onto our back. And from here, drop the knees to the right and turn your head to the left. Again, exactly the same thing as possible, of course, without your belt. If you don't have one, if you prefer not using one, just keep the knees nicely on top of each other here. And close the eyes, get comfortable, and put a smile on your face. Just relaxing your face muscles. Letting your brain activate all those happy neural passageways. While we're here, we start focusing on the left side of the body. On that stretch in the waist. How's your left hip feeling? And your lower belly. And our entire body is part of this process of breathing in and out. Some parts will be feeling more than others right now. We'll keep focusing on the side here and on our lower abdomen. Now deep breath in. And on the exhale, we rise again. We release our belt if we were using one. And we're going to send both legs towards the front of the mat, just stretching out here, point your toes. Now from here, We're going to bring the legs over to the right. We're going to bring our hips over to the right. Our whole body comes to the right side of the mat. And then we're going to bring both legs to the left. Now we want to make sure that we're stretching into the side here rather than raising our hips. So really ground your buttocks here. And we're going to then reach our arms over, and we're going to let our torso follow, just the upper back here, reaching over to the right. And we're going to grab hold of the right wrist and reach it over to the left. Drop your head and close the eyes again. And don't worry how deep you are in this pose here. It's just about stretching into your lats. So be comfortable. If you want, one ankle can come on top of the other. Let your head get heavy here too. The head holds so much tension, neck muscles hold tension. Now is just the time to release that, to soften every part of the body. We'll keep those deep and slow breaths up. Every breath you take is going into the chest, into the rib cage, into the stomach. Every exhale comes from all of these parts of the body. So you feel yourself expanding, the whole upper body is expanding. As we're exhaling, we feel ourselves flatten, collapse a little bit into ourselves here, becoming very soft in every part of the body. We'll keep our breath nice and smooth. We're not forcing the breath, we're not pushing it out, we're not forcing more air into the body. Breathing steadily in our own rhythm. Good. And then slowly come back to center. Maybe the arms go first, then the legs come back in. We're going to bring the feet onto the ground. Now we're going to bring our whole body to the left side. Buttocks, back, feet. We're going to start by hugging the knees in towards us, just for some release here in case your lumbar spine needs it. And for the tummy, just compress here. And we'll take 3 deep breaths, just in our own time. We're trying not to rush the breath. Maybe you start becoming aware of the pauses after you've inhaled, after you've exhaled. Maybe we start becoming a little bit calmer, a little bit more in the moment, not thinking about dinner tonight, not thinking about the day we had. We're slowly going to release the legs. We're still on the left side of the mat here. From here, we're keeping the buttocks exactly where they are. Slide that right leg to the right. Slide the left leg to the right, not raising our hip in any way. We're going to reach our arms and our torso over, grab hold of the left wrist, and pull at that arm nice and gently. Nothing here should hurt. We're staying for long enough to let that stretch unfold by itself. We can bring that right ankle on top of the left ankle, just to keep that left leg in place, but just if that's comfortable. This is your class, your stretch. And we breathe into the body. Now that we've already stretched that right side of the body, we probably, quite likely, not just feel the left side of the body being stretched here, but also feel that little twinge in the right side. We're just here to observe that. Just here to succumb to that stretch and to all of those sensations that we feel. Slow and deep breaths into the body. Calm and relaxed. Notice what you can feel in your lower back, if anything at all. Is there any tension, any resistance? Maybe just a nice stretch that you can feel. Notice what effect that stretch has on your abdomen. Keep your shoulders relaxed, even though you're pulling gently at that left arm, that left shoulder is still relaxed. No tension anywhere in the body. I'm going to take a last deep breath in. And on the exhale, we'll slowly come back. Good. Now from here again, bring the knees in towards you. And gently rock from side to side. See how your lower back is feeling. Good. And from here, stretch that right leg away from you. We'll come into another twist here. You're going to bring your hips a little bit further to the left. The right hip is already readying itself for being on the ground. And we're going to shift that left hip and knee over to the right. So slightly deeper this time. You don't have to be as deep as I am here, but that little bit of pushing the hip over to the left will increase that stretch. And you are completely in control as to how deep you want to take this. Now imagine that knee coming as close towards your right arm, armpit, or elbow as you want. And your left hand can gently rest on your left hip. Now we're going to, left hip or waist. We're going to close the eyes and we're going to just follow the movement of our left hand here. Feeling the stomach rise and fall. Really taking those deep and slow breaths, breathing in all the way and breathing out all the way. That way we know we're getting our body, all of our organs, enough oxygen. Squeezing those organs here. When we release new and fresh oxygenated blood, can run back in. So a few more deep breaths here. Gently, not firmly, pushing that left knee over to the right, pushing the left hip over to the right. Good. One deep breath in here, all together. And on the exhale, we come onto our back again, nice and slowly. Left foot on the ground so that you can push your right hip back to where it came from. We're going to stretch that left leg away from us. Now you can take your whole body over to the right a little bit. We're going to hug that right knee in towards us. And again, as before, you can, foot on the ground, shift that left hip over to the right a little bit more. Completely optional. Right knee comes in towards us and goes over to the left. As before, we keep both shoulders firmly on the ground. Don't worry if your knee here is nowhere near the ground. It can be super high. It's just about your own little twist here and about all the things that you notice going on in your body. Your body is not my body, so just work with yours and work with the sensations you can feel. Right hand can rest on our hip or waist here. Just following that movement of the breath. Right shoulder firmly on the ground, relaxed. And our head is getting heavy towards the right. Just a nice gentle stretch here for your neck muscles. Make sure that this is comfortable, and if it isn't, then just turn your head again to where you are comfortable. If you feel the back of the head on the ground and you're fine with that, then just stay with that. And stay wherever you're comfortable, breathing slowly into the body. Really taking your time on the exhalation. Now, every time you exhale for longer than you inhale, you're activating the vagus nerve, fastest way to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. Just a lovely little nerve that connects all of our vital organs to our brain. It becomes a bit of an information superhighway telling the brain what's going on in the body. And slow exhalations calm our system. With every exhale, we get a little bit softer in the body. And we metabolize all our stress hormones. We lie here for a couple more breaths in our own time. Breathing in and out through the nose. And after your second exhalation, slowly roll onto your back again, right foot on the ground, so you can shift that hip over in case that's necessary. We're going to stretch that right leg away from us. Bring the left knee in towards you. And then from here, take that knee over to the left, as far over as you can. You can use the crook of the arm here. Good. And then we bring our right hand to the left foot. And bring both hands there for one. And we just hold. And we feel a little bit of a stretch here in the right leg as well. If that stretch here in your femur muscles, it's a little bit too much, bring your right foot down onto the ground. That's completely fine as well. And as before, you're completely in control of this stretch here. You don't have to overdo anything. If that hand on the foot is too much, just bring the hands around the knee. And we'll take a few deep breaths here. And as we breathe in and out like that, we feel that relaxation in our lower belly. We either decide to stay here if that's quite comfortable and stretching enough, or we grab hold of our left foot with the left hand, or of the crook of the knee with the left hand, and we flex that foot and raise it towards the ceiling. Well, this can be a half happy baby here with that knee quite high, quite low, or you can make things a little bit easier, but flex that foot. Just a little bit of work for the legs here as well. And again, if all of this is too much, that right foot can be on the ground, knee high. Use your right hand on your right hip for a little bit of imaginary pressure. It's not so much that the hand is adding that pressure, but it's there to make us remember that the hip is nice and heavy here. While we take deep breaths into the lower belly. Very good. Now from here, slowly release. And then shake off the legs. Left leg might need it. If it doesn't, you're okay to just rest the legs here. Maybe rolling the feet a little bit, going into your ankles. And then when we're ready, we're going to bring that right knee in towards us. And from here, immediately bring the knee over to the right side, towards the right armpit, but keep your foot quite low. You can slide that left hand to the right foot if you want. You can stay with both with both hands on the knee. Just see what's comfortable. As always, make sure you are comfortable in whatever you're doing here. And we're just going to hold whichever stretch works for us. Eyes closed. Relax your jaw. And breathe. This is our time to focus just on the breath. The body is doing what it's doing without any help from us. Hands are in place, the right arm is in place. Everything is how it's supposed to be. As before, if it's all a little bit much, that left foot this time can come down onto the ground, slide in towards the buttocks. And our stomach rises as we breathe in and falls as we breathe out. And again, you've got the option of staying here. This might already be enough for you. Or you can flex your right foot, grab hold of the foot or the ankle or the crook of the knee, and keeping that knee low, raising the foot towards the ceiling. Good. And if this is the time for you to bring that left foot in towards you, feel free to do that. If you can keep it straight, that's great too. Left hand on the hip. Just relaxing here. And taking a few deep breaths. Making sure that that right leg doesn't tense up in any way. So we want to resist any urge of tensing the body, wherever that is in the body. Shoulders are relaxed, that right leg is relaxed, left leg relaxed, and the back of the head is getting heavy. We're just here for a few more deep breaths. Very good. And then we slowly release and slide that leg away from us. We're going to shake off the legs and like roll our feet, doing little circles. Good. And then from here, bring your feet firmly onto the ground and come onto the right side of the body and up to seated. So we're going to start by grabbing a blanket or a towel. Again, if you don't have one, that's fine. I've got two options for you. We're going to bring that towel or blanket just underneath us. Doesn't have to be super high, but you can double up again if you want. Now let's see what's comfortable here. You come down onto that towel so that your upper back is on the towel. If you suddenly feel that's not much of an elevation, you can double up again. And then from here, maybe with your belt handy, if you've got one, you're going to raise the legs. Now, a few things here, but I'll take you through all of them step by step. One, the belt can go around the feet. You can hold on here low enough for your upper arms to be on the ground. This will make it a little bit easier for the legs. That is one option. The other option is with a block or book, raising the buttocks a little bit. And then from here, that's probably the most intense option. You can go into a full snail or plow pose if you're more used to your heart yoga. So this might be too much. We're not going to hold forever, but I want you to be comfortable here. And any strain on the neck muscles or on lower vertebra here in your spine, stay away from this one. You don't have to go that deep. You can interlock the hands if you are in your full plow. But again, you might prefer to be just on legs up the wall with the bell, with your book or block, or just by itself. Wherever we are, we're going to start relaxing into this pose now. Not thinking too much about how long we're going to stay, not worrying, because we know that we're just here for a little while. And any and all of the sensations that we feel are just temporary. Notice how your legs are feeling, if they're getting warmer. You might feel pins and needles, the legs and the feet. And if you're in the full snail, just make sure here that you still keep your breath completely relaxed. Nice and slow breath. If you are in that full plow position, just like I am at the moment, now change your grip. So still interlocking the hands here, but having the other thumb on top. That grip will feel quite strange because we're very used to interlocking the hands in a certain way. Deep breaths into the body and slow breaths out. Wherever we are right now, we'll take 2 more deep breaths all the way in and slowly out. Deep breath in and slow breath out. And we come down onto our back again, opening the eyes, releasing belt and block if we had one, just hugging the knees in towards us. Good. And we'll just enjoy how our legs are feeling here. And we'll take a couple of deep breaths. And for one, we can exhale through the mouth, just so that feels good. slowly come back up to the right side of the body. Bringing that towel or blanket to one side and keeping a block or bolster close by. Again, we've got many different options here. We're going to start by bringing our feet firmly onto the ground and then raising the buttocks and bringing a block or book or bolster underneath us, just underneath the tailbone here. Can be the lowest side. See how that feels? If you want to rise a little bit higher, then middle height, or if you want to do the highest, just making sure you're comfortable here and supported, coming to the highest. Now, if you feel like your legs are drifting over to the side, then you can also use a belt here to support the knees from going over to the sides a little bit here. Just another option for you. If you do, make sure that they're round about hip distance apart. And again, if you don't have a belt, that's completely fine as well. So all of these are just options. And here we can also interlock the hands again, making sure that the shoulders go as far away from the head, the top of the head, as possible. Now, for those who have got two blocks, and for those who are hardcore, you can use two blocks as well, lowest side of the block and then that higher side on top. This is all things we can try here. Wherever we are, we want to make sure we're comfortable. Even though we're not staying as long as in many other yin classes that we've done before, not as long as we would in restorative yoga, just make sure that every single moment of this pose is comfortable. And take deep breaths into the lower belly here. So we're really stretching the front of the body and a lovely supported back bend here. The eyes are closed, the eyelids are heavy. Our jaw is relaxed. We might even have our mouth ever so slightly open, making sure we're not clenching our jaw here. Good. And we'll take 3 deep breaths here, all the way into the lower abdomen, all the way out. Really feel your skin stretch. Stomach rises and falls. Good. We'll take a last deep breath in, hands onto the block or book. On the exhale, we push our hips higher and we hold here for a deep breath in. And on the exhale, remove those books from underneath you and slowly release your buttocks back down onto the ground. Very nice. Well done. We're going to hug the knees in towards us here, releasing that belt if we were using one. And take a couple of breaths here in Pavanmuktasana. Good. Now from here, we'll come up and we'll cross the legs in front of us. I'm going to keep this one easy because we'll stay for a little bit longer. So an option here is to come into Padmasana. And for anyone who wants this and who feels comfortable with that, lotus pose with the tops of the feet on the opposite thigh, that is fine. Otherwise, just a gentle cross-leg position will do here. You can use a belt around the legs if you want, just to keep them in place, keep them quite tight. I think you get the message. If you don't have a belt, no belt is necessary. And then from here, we're going to bring 2 blocks underneath us. One is going to come in between our shoulder blades. If you've got a book, then just use the low side of the book obviously, and you might not need a second book. Now from here, relax down and you can drop the head all the way to the ground, or you can release a little bit by bringing a block just underneath the back of the head here. This is one option. The other option is coming a little bit higher, highest side of the block, in between. the shoulder blades, just as before. Again, make sure you're comfortable. And then the middle side of the block coming onto the ground, so that you can rest the back of the head on your block. See if that's comfortable. And the option here too is to drop the head. In that case, the head is just going to hover over the ground. 3 deep breaths here together. In through the nose and out through the nose. Making sure the mouth is closed. Really in through the nose only. And slowly out. In all the way. And out all the way. And then very slowly on an exhale, raise the head, bringing the chin to the chest and coming up. Good. Other side, so that outer foot comes in towards us. If you were in Padmasana, you'll just do the other side of Padmasana. And if you were using the middle side or the lower side of the block and you have blocks available, maybe try the higher side now. Maybe see how that works for you. So just getting comfortable again. Take your time here. A few deep breaths. That can be supported or it can hover, whatever feels comfortable to you. And we take a few deep breaths here. Eyes closed, jaw relaxed. Breathing into the body and out. And if we want, we can, for this side, reach the arms over the head and just hold on to the opposite hand. Feeling the whole front of the body open up and relax. In through the nose and out. Rib cage expands and contracts. Stomach expands. Chest expands. And on the next exhalation, we slowly bring the hands onto the ground. Raise the head. Take your time here. Bringing the chin to the chest and coming onto your hands, seated, blocks away, books away. Good. And we'll take a moment to come down into Pavanmuktasana again, just hugging the knees in towards us, noticing how our back is feeling. And if we feel like it, we'll rock from side to side here. Just let your breath flow deeply and evenly. Good. Now from here, we can either come just into Shavasana, or if we want to elevate our upper body, we have that option again. So I'd suggest if you've got a bolster or something that is similar to one, using the bolster, so you can really elevate and go into a bit of an arch here. If you don't, you can work with your blocks. You can work with a blanket underneath you, just lengthways here, sideways, bringing that bolster underneath you, maybe bringing a big pillow underneath you, and then grabbing hold of your opposite elbow here. And we'll get comfortable for the last few minutes. And if you've got a towel and you've got books, you can play around with bringing the books onto the ground and then bring the towel on top so it's a little bit softer for you. See if that works. And if not, Shavasana is completely fine as well. And the higher we are here, of course, the more we'll be feeling that breath in the whole front of the body. And we'll use every single breath to stretch and to feel those stretches. Deep breath in and slow breath out. eyes closed, jaw relaxed, tongue relaxed. Now breathe in for 3, 2, 1, and out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 3, 2, 1, out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just getting used to exhaling for twice as long as we've inhaled. Now count to yourself. Now keeping the breath in just as deep and unrushed as we would otherwise. And just working on slowing down our exhalation. On the next exhale, we slowly bring the hands back down into the ground, push ourselves up. Good. We're going to bring our towel to the front. Now, a couple of options here. We can keep the legs straight to the front because I know it's not nice for everyone to sit on the heels. So I'll show you this option first. Towel into the navel, hands here too. We can bring the feet onto the ground and then just come forward. So we feel a little bit of pressure here on the belly. We're going to drop the head and just let ourselves relax here. And we feel a nice decompression here in the lumbar spine as well. Now we also have that option of coming into a more traditional way of doing yoga mudra, and that is sitting on the heels, towel here, and we come down all the way. Relaxing the arms, relaxing the head, just letting ourselves get heavy here. And taking deep breaths into the belly. In through the nose and out through the nose. If this is not enough pressure on the belly and you'd like more, you've got that option here too of bringing the hands to the towel, to the belly. And relax. Feel that gentle massage of the abdominals. Now very slowly, without any rush, raise your torso. And make your way into a comfortable seated position. That means you can have the legs reached out to the front, still stretched out to the front, or you can come into Shukrasana, the way I am right now, crossing the legs in front of me. I'm going to bring the hands onto the knees or thighs, drop the left ear to the left shoulder, and roll the shoulders up and towards the back and all the way down. Roll the chin to the chest from here, and then slowly raise the head. From here, we're going to drop our right ear to the right shoulder. One more time, shoulders roll all the way up and all the way towards the back and down. We'll roll the chin to the chest. And we'll raise the head. We're going to take a deep breath in and raise the arms, look up to the ceiling. And we breathe out and bring the hands to the heart center. Thank you very much for joining. Now we'll see you soon.